Hey everybody, this is Chuck Marone with Strong Towns. I'm going to talk to you just for a little bit today about my building, the Franklin Arts Center. I work in this building here in Brainerd, Minnesota. It's my hometown. Here's the interesting thing about this building. This is a building that I went to junior high in. My parents went here. I went here. I actually met my wife here. We've been dating or married since I was in ninth grade. And it all started right here in the Franklin, what now is the Franklin Arts Center. Back in this would have been 1990s, my school district decided that this building was no longer adequate and that they were going to build a new middle school out in the middle of nowhere, actually way out by my family farm. Where I lived when I was growing up, the original Marone homestead. They built a brand new school campus. It was 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. That required them to move the 9th graders from this building to a different building, which they had to renovate. The idea was, at the time, we can have a lot of efficiency by doing it this way. If we got rid of the 5th grades, we could consolidate elementary schools, we could have fewer principals, fewer lunch ladies, fewer librarians. We could put more money into facilities and essentially save money on administration and running a school. And in the way we fund schools today, that makes a lot of sense, right? I think it's a horrible way to do things, but if you're an administrator, it makes a lot of sense. You get facilities money out of one bucket, that you can't put that money in the classroom. You get classroom money out of one bucket, and that's a little bit more fungible in a lot of places. Here in Minnesota, it's certainly more fungible. And so, if you can do something from a facility standpoint, if you can spend $1 in facilities to save yourself 20 cents in terms of staffing, that is often a good trade-off because that staffing money is a little bit more flexible and a little bit more urgent. What tends to happen then is that we make these generational, very large investments, and then we watch them kind of atrophy over time because, again, the maintenance budget and the operating your school, the hiring of teachers, the buying books for your classroom, all that stuff tends to come out of the same budget. This just makes it makes running a school more often about the capital projects that you can do than it is about anything else. And this is why you see inner city schools struggle with financing. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but one of the main reasons why is because if you're in a suburban school or you're in a district like mine, which is a rural school, and you can consolidate things and do big building projects and what have you, you can almost cash flow 10%, 20%, 30% above what you're normally getting because you can rob from Peter to pay Paul and spread those things out in a bond or what have you. Getting back to my building here, the reason I wanted to stop and chat about this building is because it's just a gorgeous place. It's a really wonderful place. When they abandoned this building as a school, the idea was we're going to tear it down. We're not going to use it as a school anymore. It's an old building, and we went through all the conversations about it's not worth keeping, it's not worth maintaining. Oh, it will cost millions and millions of dollars to make use. It would be better off just getting torn down. And, in fact, we have seen local schools that were built at the same time as this one, that had the same building quality as this one, torn down for those same reasons, right? It's an old building, it's not worth fixing up, it's not worth maintaining. I'm gonna say that might be true. I don't think it's true, but I'm gonna give the idea that it might be true if you're going to continue to use it as a school. If you're going to continue to use it as a school with today's building codes and today's standards, it might cost millions of dollars to fix up and make use of, okay? So when school districts say these kind of things, like we can't keep this building, we can't renovate this building because it's going to cost millions of dollars, they're talking about it through the very narrow lens of being a school. In some cases, that might be true. But the reality is that we step back and we say, of all the possible uses in the community, is that true? And the answer in almost every instance is going to be, no, it's not. Franklin Arts Center, formerly the Franklin Junior High School, is an amazing place. There are artists live work units in here. There are artist studios like the one I'm in. I'm in the old guidance counselor's office. It's pretty sweet. I've got a nice little recording studio for podcasts and web broadcasts and things like that. I've got a nice conference table, a lot of big windows. It's really wonderful space. There's a lot of different size spaces in here, so we can fit people in at many different price points. The auditorium, which is just fantastic, is turned over to a local theater company who runs community plays out here regularly. The school district has actually been an owner of this building and now giving up their ownership part of it to the building. And now we're going to be able to get the gym and some of the grounds and do some other like pretty spectacular things. It's been hard because we've had to go to the district and get permission to do things like coffee shops and anything else that would make this kind of a more fun place has been kind of quashed, but now we're going to get that ability to do that too. The moral of the story here is this. Because something ends one use, because there's an institutional use for a building that is no longer viable, and we can debate whether it is actually viable or not, but let's just say for the sake of this discussion that if we reach the conclusion that one use is no longer viable, that doesn't mean that all uses are not viable and that we can't make good use of a property like this. And particularly when you've got a spectacular building like this one, right? One that, this is thick brick. To tear this thing down would not only be just a crime, it would take so much time and effort. This building, if we just walked away from it and came back 200 years from now, this building's still going to be standing here. You can't say that about hardly anything else in this neighborhood. The idea that creative, thoughtful people couldn't find something valuable to do with this building is just really sad. I'm proud of the fact that we did here. I'm sad about the fact that we haven't in other places. And I kind of challenge you, if you want to be a strong town, these are the kind of gems that you need to hang on to.